The Woker 2 has been an absolute financial disaster for Warner Brothers, and honestly, it couldn't have happened to nicer guys. Shame on them. This film has made $119 million worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. That includes countries such as the Netherlands and even Germany, and probably Belgium is in there as well. That's worldwide. That's all the countries in the world. $119 million. To put that into perspective, in total, the first Joker made over $1 billion throughout its little lifespan there. Over $1 billion. It was the second biggest R-rated movie until it was the biggest until Deadpool and Wolverine came along and finally knocked it off its perch. Insane. Insane. This movie is projected to make around $200 million. Some people saying as high as $250 million in total. It had a $200 million budget, and that doesn't include all the added costs like promotional stuff and things like that. So this movie is almost certainly, it seems, going to lose money. And I say good. That's what you get for spitting on the fans. That's, I imagine there's a fan down there. That's what Woke Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix and Woke Gaga did to the fans. They spat all over them. And there's no excuse for it. It's a disgrace what they did. And by the way, it's reported that Lady Gaga got $12 million for this. Woke Phillips got $20 million for this. And Joaquin Phoenix got $20 million for this as well. So they're laughing all the way to the bank. A Joker laugh all the way to the bank after spitting on the fans for just supporting a movie that they liked. Shame on them. And I want to address this as well. There was a lot of nasty comments about me, very nasty comments. Many of them mentioned my race, which is bang out of order. Very shameful thing to do, to drag my race into this, as if I haven't been through enough abuse in my life because of my skin color. It's shameful, really. But they brought that up, and they're saying they're mocking me for saying woke and all this. Shame on them. Those people are going to be on the wrong side of history. Okay, and throughout time, there have been people that are on the wrong side of history. There was when women needed the right to vote, and everyone said, "Yeah, women should have the right to vote." There were women that stood against them, but luckily the good women won. And they got the right to vote, and they got other rights. All races in the world have been enslaved, but every time that happened, the people that were being enslaved, there'd be ones in there that were selling their own people into slavery, and they're on the wrong side of history. There were people that helped vampires, okay? And they took their own people, and they took them to the vampires in exchange for money and goods and services. And they would sell out human beings to vampires, which aren't even human. They're not even human, and they would sell them out to that. And you saw examples of that, like Renfield, for example, which is obviously fictional in the Dracula book. He was a human that sold out his own humans, and that happens. Obviously, I'm not saying Dracula is real. I think based on, I think it's reasonable to say that I think a logical person would probably assume there was likely vampires at some point in history between before the early 1800s. I don't think they're as prevalent now. I think we'd see more evidence of it. Maybe they are. I do think probably the events that inspired Dracula, who was probably inspired by a real guy. We know he was inspired by a real guy. And I think the events probably sort of cut down on the prevalence of vampires a little bit, but they were trying to push back. And it wasn't too long ago that vampires... every movie was about vampire movie. Twilight, when I was in school, all the girls, there was lots of girls that when they grew up, they wanted to be a vampire. That's what they wanted to be. And they wanted a vampire to stick his dirty, rotten fangs into their neck and inject them with the vampire venom so that they too would become a vampire. Okay? And I hope to God that hasn't happened. Like I say, I don't know if vampires are still about. I don't know if that's just a thing that happened in history. I don't know. It would make sense when we see a lot of vampire movies. Twilight, Morbius, Blade. There's another Blade movie being made. He was in the Deadpool movie. There's a lot of vampire stuff going on. And potentially, it is possible they'd be behind this whole movement to rail against people like me. I don't know if that is going on. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Joker has failed miserably. Shame on them. Shame on the people that left comments. But big up to all the supporters out there you heroes that were like, no, this man is smart. And this man is just sharing the information, and we like him and we appreciate that. And we're going to leave a nice comment on his video. Thank you to all you people. You people are wonderful. Everybody else, shame on you. And you unsubscribe, but everyone else subscribe and hit the like button, please.